I am now moving 5 hours away to a new area with a ladder strapped to the hood of my truck because I am nearly broke. Spent almost all my money on training and tools just to be able to get this opportunity, and now it was all on the line. I get to the territory, literally the ladder strapped to my truck that has been whistling the entire way there because it was so loud on the highway, and it's just me, all my stuff in my truck, and I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm here, now what? What's up everyone? My name is Sam Martin. If you don't know me, I'm the guy who went from being the awkward homeschool farm boy to making over $364,000 a year without a degree or starting a business. And this right here is the place where we talk about how to level up your skills, how to generate a higher income, and how to build financial freedom. So let's get into the video. In this video today, I'm going to continue to spill the beans, and I want to continue to give you guys an inside scoop, what it was like for me in my first 30 days as a sales entrepreneur, all the craziness that went with it. And if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you the top 3 lessons that I learned going through this experience that ultimately helped me generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission. So to pick up where we left off, in the last video, I talked about how I landed my first sales entrepreneur role. I am now in a vehicle moving 5 hours away to a new area, new territory with a ladder strapped to the hood of my truck because I am nearly broke. Spent almost all my money on training and tools just to be able to get this opportunity, and now it was all on the line. And to make things worse, because I was almost broke, I had this great idea to live out of my truck for the first little while getting started to try and save money. This is not recommended. Now, the one saving grace that I did have is the company a lot of times would pay for hotels for people for a little bit. So I negotiated with the company to actually pay me the hotel money because I was living out of my truck. And that actually gave me a few dollars out of the gate that helped me just kind of survive while I was going through the difficult part of just getting started. But here I arrive, I get to the territory, it's 5 hours away. I have literally the ladder strapped to my truck that has been whistling the entire way there because it was so loud on the highway. And it's just me. I'm there, all my stuff in my truck, and I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm here, now what? And it actually really sucked because when it would rain, all you would do is you would just sit in the truck and like there was nowhere to go. Now, fortunately, I was able to get a gym right away. So I got a gym, I could shower and I could work out. And that was the best thing ever that I was able to do, because then if I wasn't stuck in the truck, I could at least be working out and getting ready for the day and all that stuff. First couple days when I got up there, what I would do is I would hit the gym, I would work out, get everything dialed in for the day. In the mornings, I would do training. So I had different training programs that I'd purchased. I would study those in the mornings and I would practice my script. And the crazy thing is, when I was starting, it was still kind of a smaller company when I first started, and they actually didn't even really have a standard script. So here I was, first couple days as a sales entrepreneur, and I was writing my very own script. Also not recommended. But then once I was able to finish writing my script out and I got that all dialed in as much as possible, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just wrote some stuff down on a paper. But once that was done, I went out and I started selling. But like I said, this was my first sales entrepreneur role. I didn't really know what I was doing. And this was back in the Stone Age when it was all I could do was in person. So I was literally going out and I was just meeting people and I was talking to people at people's houses, in neighborhoods, and also businesses, where I would just walk in, try to meet someone and start a conversation. And for me, the awkward homeschool farm boy, this was extremely difficult. And at this point in my career, I was still very young. So a lot of times I was talking to people that were older than me. And I always had this like fear and insecurity of not being good enough or not being smart enough or whatever, because I never went to college. I never did that stuff. And that seemed like the thing to do. So if you feel that way, just know that that's a normal thing and it doesn't even matter. Because this was my first role, I was kind of on my own a little bit and I didn't really know what I was doing. So I said the wrong things. I went to the wrong places. I stumbled over my words. I messed up important deals. And one of the most embarrassing things was, because I was so green, some of my customers even knew more about the products that I was selling than I did, which did not feel cool. And I will keep it 100% real with you. Those first couple weeks were rough. If any of you are in my training programs, I call it the hot, dry desert phase, because it is the absolute most difficult phase. It's when you're getting put to the fire. And there were some days where it's literally so difficult. I would be going door to door, trying to talk to people, and you would just have like person after person slam the door in your face or like threaten to call the cops or whatever. And some days I would just like break down, sit in my truck and be dang near crying because I was just like, I can't do this anymore. But fortunately, I was able to get around some other guys that were out there doing it, learn from them a little bit. And when those hard times came, I would throw in some motivation videos or some like inspiring music or whatever. And that's what kept me through in those hard days, because like it was a real deal, right? This was like as brutal and as straight up difficult as it gets, especially being brand new in an area far away. But it was those exact things that actually grew me and molded me into who I am. So getting a little bit ahead of myself, keep going through the process. I was able to, like I said, connect with some of the other reps in the area and mentor with them, which was extremely valuable. Every single day I made up 100 flyers, and I set the standard of I am not going to come back to the house. I eventually was able to get a place to stay. I only stayed in the truck for a couple weeks, but I set the standard of I'm not going to come back to the house until I've sent out those 100 flyers, that I've talked to 100 people. And that alone made a massive difference for me. I landed my first deal, and then 2 deals, and then 5 deals, and then 10 deals. And pretty soon I had some good revenue coming in. Ended up actually making, I think it was about 600,000 or 700,000 in sales in my first 6 months. And from that, I netted like 65, 70 grand in commission. So for me at the time, that was more money that I had made in my life. But really what I want you to take away from all this craziness, from my experience going through the first 30 days as a sales entrepreneur, is these 3 lessons. And these are the 3 biggest things that I took away from this experience, from all the craziness, from all the hardships. But it really molds you. And if you want to achieve big things in your life, you can't hide from the challenge. You have to head into the discomfort. You have to challenge your comfort zone, and that's what will grow you. Number 1 is set a standard and stick to it. If I wanted to set that standard of 100 hangers, 100 flyers every single day, then I never would have reached the amount of people that I needed to. And sometimes it's simply a standard that you need to set for yourself to do the amount of volume that you need. Because sometimes whatever it is that we're doing, whether we're selling stuff, whether we're going to the gym, we think that, oh, I did 3 sets, that's enough, right? I did this many, that's enough. When in reality, you need to set higher standard for yourself. And when you hold that standard consistently, your results will be incredible and you will achieve way more than you thought was possible. Number 2 is to study and chase the best. So if you're in business, if you're in the sales entrepreneur space, you have to find who are the people that are crushing it and study them and chase them and compete with them, right? You want to compete with the people who are at the top of their game. If your goal is 100,000 and there's people that are doing 300,000-400,000 a year in your role, or maybe even like $1 million a year, don't settle for 100,000. Study the best and try to beat the best. And when you compete with the best, your results will be exponential. Because if you're shooting for 500,000 or $1 million and you miss, you end up still making 200,000-300,000, and that is way more money than most people will ever make in their life. And that leads me to number 3, which is be okay with sucking and with failing. If I never would have had the courage to go out there and start and try, even when I knew nothing, even when I was totally green, I never would have learned the things that I needed to. And the fact of the matter is that going through the process of failing and not being good is the only way that you truly can get good. You're not gonna have experience until you have experience. And you have to be okay with failure. You have to be okay with maybe not knowing what you're talking about and just going out there and trying and doing and becoming great through the process. So those were the top 3 lessons that I got going through this experience. I hope you got a ton from this video. Let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite part of the story? What made you cringe? What made you excited, inspired? Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you'd like to have more. And guys, stay tuned because we are building greatness one person at a time. Remember, don't just listen, implement.